Today on Homeworthy, we're visiting a serene and inviting home in the Hamptons where we'll meet interior designer Hilary Matt. Hilary was searching for an escape from the city when she came across this beautiful ranch. She immediately recognized its potential to become the perfect family home for long and lazy summers and wasted no time getting to work. Her redesign was rooted in curating a relaxing retreat with thoughtful layers of character and warmth. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. To shop items inspired by this and other Homeworthy episodes, be sure to check out the product links below for amazing furniture, accessories, and more.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Hilary Matt. Welcome to my home in the Hamptons. Come on in. I purchased this home 3 years ago and did a complete renovation to make it summer ready for me and my family. It's located in Wainscott in the Hamptons, which is between Sagaponack and East Hampton. It's our happy place and we love it so much here, and I can't wait to show you around. My husband and I were looking for a home in the Hamptons for many years, and all of the houses we saw didn't check any of our boxes. When we saw this one, it checked them all. It's a ranch style home and it had so much potential for us to make it into our own. All right, let's get started. This is the foyer of my home. This piece right here, I had custom made. I needed something very small to fit into the foyer right here. And I loved that it was a white, interesting, funky piece that brought in, you know, a little bit of a modern, vintagey touch to the space. And I added here a vintage Noguchi light, which I bought at an auction. I bid on it many, many times, and I probably overpaid, but I knew that I needed it for this space. And I love this vase that I got here from 1818 Collective, which is an amazing home store in the Hamptons. I thought it brought in industrial element to the space, especially on top of this more modern console. This mirror that I have here was actually a little cheap cheat, which I don't think you would ever know. It's from Anthropologie, and I actually got it on sale. I think it was about $150. This catch-all was also a cool piece that I purchased from 1818 Collective, which is in Sag Harbor. It's a great place where we throw our keys. I usually have a candle lit when people are coming over. I just love it to collect all of our stuff. And over here on this side of our foyer, I have a bench that we had made, also custom, in a Lee Joffa outdoor fabric, actually. This fabric is from a collection from Kelly Wearstler, which I love. She makes amazing prints. I wanted this fabric to be outdoor, so when my kids and their friends come in the door with wet bathing suits, dirt from outside, I don't have to worry about it, and I literally can just wipe it clean. This piece of art above the bench is from Andrew Zimmerman. I visited the gallery in Meatpacking District, and I absolutely loved it and bought it on the spot. I thought it would be the most perfect thing for our foyer. I love incorporating natural elements into my home. This jute rug gives a very organic look right when you walk in the door. Not only does it collect sand, but it really sets the mood for the house. As you can see, my house is very open. My foyer leads directly into my living room. I would say the style of this home is comfortable modern, mixed with some vintage pieces. I really wanted this space to feel warm and cozy, but modern at the same time. A lot of the pieces of furniture that I have in this room, I purchased from Round Top, which is a vintage show in Texas that happens twice a year in Round Top, Texas. It's one of my favorite places to go to find interesting and cool pieces. This table here, I actually purchased before I even owned this house. I loved it so much, and I knew whatever home we were gonna buy, I wanted to use it. So I purchased it, I stuck it in a warehouse, and as soon as we closed on the house, I had it delivered. I think it's such a special piece that grounds the whole room together. Everything in this room is so neutral, but this really brings out some color, not in a loud way, just very warm, organic, not in your face feeling. These pieces here, these accessories, which I purchased, are also from Round Top. They're vintage with this sort of verdigris finish on it, I think is so cool. And this vase also is a vintage vase from there. This sofa that I have, we custom made it for the space. It was really important for me to have a comfortable sofa for my family. I wanted it to look cozy, but also look like it was put together. I had them create a tight seat so that the sofa always looked like it was in good shape, but then the back cushions are more floppy and cozy, which is a nice mix, I think, for a living room / family room in our house. This fabric that I used on the sofa is also outdoor fabric, so I didn't have to worry about that it's white. My kids can eat on it, and I could wipe it clean, which was a must for my family. These pillows I made specifically for this room. Again, this is a Kelly Wearstler fabric that I picked from Lee Joffa that I loved. And this boucle fabric on this pillow is from Pierre Frey. I loved that both of these felt soft and warm and inviting. The rug that I picked for this room is from Art and Loom. They do beautiful rugs. We had this one made in a custom size to cover the whole room. I really loved the idea of a Moroccan type rug. So we took that idea and made it into our own with this sort of high-low pile that's in one tone, which is really comfortable on your feet and I think looks great and casual. Sometimes when decorating a room with all neutral colors, it's easy for the room to fall flat. So I think it's extremely important to incorporate different textures in a room. In this case, I have a shaggy rug, I have a linen nubby sort of sofa, and boucle and chunky fabrics. All of those things together really make a room come alive when you're using all neutral colors. So I find that's extremely important. So the fireplace in here, I really wanted to use travertine. I thought that the color palette of this stone really added to the overall look and feel I was going in the space. And this rounded look was something I was dead set on. My marble fabricator was not happy about it, but he did it for me, and I really love the way that it turned out. This piece on my fireplace is from an artist in Australia. His company is called Denholm, and he takes concrete and makes really cool furniture and sculptures. This sculpture I wanted for years, and it was sold out, and he did a release, and the second it came out, I bought it. I knew it would be the perfect piece for my fireplace, and I love the juxtaposition of the concrete and the flower. I just think it's super cool. So in this room, we have these two focal walls. My husband and I fought for about a year on what we should put here. We finally landed on this piece of art from Bradley Duncan, and we did one with a taupey background and one with the white background. We thought that this brought all of the colors of the room together and finished the room perfectly. And I'm a big fan of Bradley's art. I think he's amazing, and I was really excited to have these pieces in my home. All of this furniture that you see in front of the fireplace is actually all vintage from Round Top, Texas again. These are Scandinavian poofs with this Mongolian fur on top, which I love. It's extra seating for us in this room. If we're having a lot of people over, we can pull the chairs up to the sofa, or if you're sitting on one of these chairs, you can use the poof as an ottoman for your feet. So we really love them. And these two chairs that I have here are also vintage from Texas. I recovered them. When I purchased them, they were a mess. So I picked this beautiful fabric, again, outdoor, to recover them in, and I really love them. They're extremely comfortable and special looking. This piece of art that I have here in the corner is one of my favorite pieces in the room. This is by an artist whose name is Jake Clark. I had been watching his work for years and years. I should have bought it a while ago, but I waited as it went up in price. But I surprised my husband for Father's Day with this vase. Jake is famous for painting famous restaurants, hotels all over the world. And this is a restaurant here in the Hamptons called Bostwick's, which is an amazing seafood restaurant that my husband loves. So the second I saw he was doing a Hamptons collection, I knew I needed this one. I really enjoyed decorating my own space, but I do feel like it's really hard. I see hundreds of pieces of furniture a day and get sick of things very easily. So it was important for me to find special pieces in my house that I wouldn't get sick of, which is why I ended up purchasing a lot of vintage pieces. So this piece I was so excited about for my house. I don't really have a huge foyer, so the center of my living room is really the first thing you see when you walk in the door. So it was important for me to have an amazing light fixture. This one is from Doug Johnston. He is an amazing artist and lighting designer. He actually hand sews and knits the whole light fixture. So it's actually made of a cloth and it's so beautiful. And I picked the colors to go with the room, and the shape I felt was very special looking and organic, and it's perfect for the space. This lamp that I have over the chair is also a vintage lamp that I got in Texas. I loved the way that the shade is folded. Again, this is a good example of texture to the room. It's a neutral color, but because of the folds and the wood, it really adds a punch to the space. Off the living room is the dining room. Let's go check it out. Here in our dining area, this is a place that we use multiple times a day. This is where we sit as a family and have dinner, lunch, and also the kids are always here drawing, arts and crafts. It's a multi-use place for our family. It was very important for me to have a space where the kids could draw with their pens, their markers, and I don't have to freak out about them staining the table. So I made sure that the finish that we applied to this table was easy to wipe down. I had this table custom made, and I picked a Benjamin Moore paint color that really complemented the rest of the space. As you can see, it's very open to the living room, so everything needed to flow into one another. These chairs that you see around the table are actually from Crate & Barrel. Sadly, they don't make them anymore, but I was so excited that I actually got them when they were available. They are outdoor chairs that you could also use indoor, so again, easy to wipe. This table runner that I have on my dining table is a nice way to add a pop of something without it being too wild and crazy. I actually was gifted this table runner by Armadillo, which is a company that makes amazing rugs that sort of look just like this. And I always have some sort of flower arrangement on the table that's casual but looks pretty. This one here I think could be used for us during the day doing nothing, and also I could host a dinner party and they would look great. In our home renovation, the kitchen was one of the largest projects that we did. When we first purchased the home, we lived in it for a summer with the old kitchen just so we knew we could get the new kitchen right and see exactly what we wanted. After that summer, we completely gutted the kitchen and started from scratch. There was a ginormous pole going up here and the ceilings were much lower. So we lifted the whole thing up and opened up the whole space, and we're so happy with the way it turned out. My husband and I went back and forth on what kind of marble would be the best for this kitchen. I love marble and I really wanted whatever we chose for our kitchen to be special. We ended up landing on this camouflage marble from Bath Stone. I love, again, all of the neutral tones that it has. It is a very porous marble, which was an issue when we first got our kitchen, but I ended up putting a protectant on top of it called Tough Skin, which protects it from lemon, lime, permanent marker for 10 years, which has been amazing. And I think that's such a great way to get beautiful marble and not have to worry about it etching or staining. My kitchen, we really wanted to do something modern and simple, so we did integrated handles on all of the wood cabinets, which I really love. The way I did these handles was sort of like as if they were decorative, but they're not. So they match the cabinets exactly, and there's a very small finger pull underneath, so it's easy to pull open a drawer or a cabinet. When my husband and I were picking out everything for our kitchen, it was very important for us to pick out appliances that worked well and also were pretty looking. We ended up with Sub-Zero and Wolf for our whole kitchen. I love their refrigerators, their ovens, everything is amazing and looks good, which is hard with appliances. Outlets in a kitchen with a marble backsplash like mine are always an eyesore. So what I do on a lot of my projects and in my own home is I have an amazing decorative painter who comes and she hand paints the outlet so that it looks like it blends in completely with the marble. She is such an artist and you could hardly tell that it's there. When renovating my kitchen, I really paid close attention to all the details. For example, my hood here, I decided to hide it instead of making it a focal point. In my kitchen, I don't have many upper cabinets, so I really wanted to use this as a place to look like upper cabinets were continued. So we hid the hood behind there, and we also created some usable space above just for extra pieces that I don't use all the time. As you can see, my kitchen is extremely neutral, and I knew that we needed a pop of something on the walls to bring it all together. For the past couple of years, the walls have been empty, and then this summer my husband and I went into a gallery in East Hampton, Gavlack Gallery, and we saw this piece there, and we both immediately knew it had to be in our kitchen. It's by an amazing Indigenous artist whose name is Renee Kondo, and she hand makes beads and puts them individually on the piece of art. We love it. I think it's so special, and I was so excited to have it in my home. These pendants that I have over my island are from a company in Napa. Their names are Bright Bound. They make amazing light fixtures. I loved the way that these looked like an art piece, but also gave off light. I thought that the hemp braiding that went across the chain was so special and different and unlike anything I had seen. So I needed them for my home, and I think that they look absolutely perfect over my islands in my kitchen. This fruit bowl is always full in my kitchen. I love having fresh fruit and vegetables in here for me, my husband, and my kids to nibble on. These cucumbers I grew in my backyard, in my garden. I have a lot of them, and I love that we grow some fruit, mostly vegetables, in our backyard, and I always like sharing them with my friends and my family when they come over. Being an interior designer, I see things 100 times and I get sick of everything. So what I loved so much about these knobs is that I don't see them ever. And these are by a designer, an artist designer, and her name is Blanche Jelly. She's in Seattle. And I love that each of the knobs that she makes are all different. And so I picked 3 one-of-a-kind knobs and sort of put them in a line. I thought that this was unlike anything I had ever seen and add something different to my kitchen. It leads to my pantry, which I won't show you because it's not so organized. Over here, I created a little bar. My house isn't huge, but we do love to entertain. So I thought this little part of the kitchen was a perfect spot for our Sub-Zero wine fridge and to keep all of our entertaining items. When I have a dinner party, this is where I'll set up drinks and wine, and it's a great place for everyone to gather. This small bar that I have is also where I keep all of my glasses and my stemware. My mugs also, these are mugs that I love. They're from a store called Ann Sandra in Bethesda, Maryland, and I love how these look one of a kind and special, and they're also really big for a huge cup of coffee in the morning when you need it. These are also great glasses that I love to use in the summertime. I love the jute cover, which you take off and you put them in the dishwasher, but they always look so fun at my dinner tables, lunch tables, and even for everyday use, and then I love them. One of the reasons we fell in love with this house was all of the opportunities it gave us for indoor-outdoor living. I love that right off of our kitchen, you can walk right outside and hang out. Here we are outside in my backyard that we use multiple times a day. This was also a very big part of our renovation project. We blew out the whole backyard, made the whole patio bigger in order to fit a sofa, a dining table, and a whole barbecue area. When we did the renovation project outside, one of the first things we had to do was pick out what flooring we wanted to do for our patio. It was extremely important for me to pick something that didn't get hot. I love the look of bluestone, but the second the temperatures get hot, the bluestone gets hot and it burns you. You have to literally run off of it. So I ended up picking this porcelain tile that looks just like bluestone, but it's a quarter of the price and it doesn't get hot. I love the way it turned out, and no one would ever know that it's not bluestone. I work with a lot of different outdoor furniture brands, but for my backyard, I definitely wanted something that was special and also comfortable. I ended up picking out a bunch of pieces from Harbor Outdoor. I think their collection of furniture is special and modern, and I really loved the look of this sofa, which has this sort of rope detailing on the side. I also picked from them a travertine coffee table, which I thought was a good way to bring the inside of my house outside and looks really beautiful. These chairs that are rattan, I picked, they're actually from Pottery Barn and they're extremely comfortable and very light, so I can move them around depending on how many people we're entertaining out here. This barbecue area we built when we did all of the work on the house. My family loves to barbecue just for us for dinner or even when we have friends over, so it was really important for us to have a great barbecue. We ended up picking out this one from Wolf, which we absolutely love. It's so easy to use and looks good too. We ended up picking for this outdoor area a concrete countertop, which looks really pretty and also is easy to wipe clean. We added an ice maker, and also we have 2 fridge drawers here, which is great for entertaining. I highly recommend doing this outside so that you don't have to run inside to grab a drink or get something that you need. This planter that I have here on top of my barbecue area is vintage from a designer. His name is Willie Gull. I love the way that he made these plaster planters that are interesting and special looking. I purchased 2 of these from a vintage store out here in the Hamptons, and I'm constantly moving them around based on what we're doing. If I'm serving food up here, I'll move it over to the coffee table, but I really think that it's a special piece and I was so excited to be able to get my hands on one. Down this way is our pool area, which gets used multiple times a day. I don't know if you can see it, but we actually have a water slide back here, which isn't what I would pick to have at my pool, but we gotta keep our kids entertained. These chaises that I have out here by the pool are also by Harbor Furniture. I love how comfortable they are. The cushions make you feel like you're sitting on a sofa or laying on a bed. We're always hanging out here all day, whether it's watching the kids, reading a book, talking on the phone. I'll sometimes lay out here with my laptop and do work. It's really calm and relaxing and a special place here. The pool is original to the house. We left it where it was, which I actually really loved how close it was to the home itself, so you could run in and out. We ended up keeping grass around the outside of the pool. I thought it made it feel more casual and family friendly rather than adding a sort of layer of bluestone or porcelain bluestone around it. Over here in my backyard is my vegetable garden, which I want to show you. But as you can see, while we're walking to my vegetable garden, I have this giant patch of dead grass, which is my husband's worst nightmare. It's actually from this summer. We had a party and this is where everyone danced and they completely killed the grass. Hopefully next summer it will grow back. Over here is where I have my vegetable garden. This summer, I really wanted to give it a shot. I had never had a garden before. So we created this small little area. And if I like it after the summer, I'll create an even bigger one. As you can see, there's some tomatoes on the ground. I don't know how that happened. Maybe an animal got here. But we're growing a lot of different things. There is kale. I have tomatoes. I have parsley, basil, jalapeno peppers, mint. There's a lot of mint. I use mint all the time. I make lemonade. I put it in water. So I love taking fresh mint from the garden. I don't do that great of a job of keeping it up, but I'm really trying to have a green thumb. We'll see. But I've really enjoyed having a vegetable garden. Next to the vegetable garden, we have a s'mores pit, which as you can see, there's leftover sticks from when we did s'mores last night that someone forgot to clean up. But we really love it here. My husband loves to light fires and we sit here. We have s'mores, we hang out. It's really a special place for us in our backyard. The siding of our house is original to when we purchased it. We loved the look of the modern barn house, and all we did to the siding is we power washed it to get it very light. When we first purchased the home, it was a lot more orangey looking. As you can see, even by looking at it now, there's parts where the sun hits it more, which make it a little more gray versus the redder parts. But we really tried to power wash the whole thing and get it to a lighter color, and then we added a satin clear stain on top of it to try and get it to stay. which really gave it more of a updated look than how it looked when we purchased it. Another thing that we did is we put a whole new roof on. We put a black metal roof, which I think really helped to modernize it and make it look almost brand new. This dining area outside of our house is more of the formal dining area that we use for dinner parties and when we have people over. I love that we can entertain close to the kitchen and close to the barbecue, and also a lot of times we'll open the doors to the living room and have it be an indoor-outdoor situation, which is really lovely in the summer. The furniture that is around the table here is also from Harbor. I chose these chairs, which are sling chairs, which actually resemble a vintage chair but are not vintage, which I fell in love with. This table I also purchased from Harbor Furniture. I love that it's metal, it's easy to maintain, and always looks good. I actually ordered a second table that's a little bit smaller, that's exactly the same. So if I'm having a large dinner party, I bring that one up here and I put them together and I can seat 14 people, which is really great. We love flowers in the backyard, as you can see, and interesting planters. Our planters that are around the perimeter of the house are concrete planters that I think are really beautiful. Again, I love the juxtaposition of these beautiful wispy flowers with more of an industrial concrete planter. I think it looks really pretty, and I'm constantly trying to find interesting combinations of flowers that will make them stand out. All right, let's head back inside now. Now that we're back inside, I want to show you a few of the bedrooms down this hallway, but first I want to show you this little powder room that we have right off of the entry. I love that this powder room feels like a little jewel box when you step inside. I chose a beautiful marble slab from Bath Stone and had the slab cut to be the vanity with an integrated sink, which I think is really interesting and cool looking. On the walls, I did a lime plaster paint from Resource Paint, and it's a very pretty blue color, which complements the marble really nicely. I used Callista plumbing, which patinas with time, which I think is really beautiful. Not everyone appreciates that, but I think it's nice that the finish changes on it. The sconces are really special from Cuff Studio. I was really excited to use these in my house. They have a rope that's wrapped around the whole thing, and they're very large, which I think makes them really fun. And the mirror I got in Texas from Round Top, another vintage find of mine, which I loved. Down this hallway is my older son's room, which I'll show you. I really wanted to create a fun space for him in our house. He was dead set on having bunk beds. We live in the city during the year and there's not that much space, so he dreamed of having bunk beds like this. We did a full bed on the bottom so he could have sleepovers with his friends, or we could cram friends and family here with a twin size above. I custom made this bunk bed in this beautiful white oak wood, which I thought was really pretty and complemented everything else in the house. The wallpaper I chose for this room is from Maya Romanoff. It's actually a flannel with a black stitching over it, which I think is really cozy and sweet. This piece of art that I have here is David Shrigley. I'm a big fan of all of his pieces, and my son loves pizza, so I knew this was the perfect thing for here. Another fun thing I did in his room is I created this rock climbing wall. I really wanted a place for him to be able to hang out in the winter and also the summer, and so he wouldn't get bored. So I thought this is a really cool addition to his room. It looks cool and he can use it. I also loved this chair from B&B Italia. It's really fun and special looking. He loves to sit in here and read books, or we'll sit together, and it's a really great addition to the room, I think. This is my younger son's room. I really wanted to make this room super cute and cozy for him. I ended up picking a wallpaper that's denim for the walls, which I thought was really cool and unlike anything I had ever seen before. This denim wallpaper is from Philip Jeffries, and I really feel like it gives a nice summery feel, but it's also neutral. The carpet, I picked this ombre blue carpet, which I thought was really fun and gave a little bit of funk to the room. And this bed, which is his new bed, because he just got a big boy bed, is from Monty. I custom picked from them the colors. So we did a darker piping and a lighter fabric on it. And there's also a trundle underneath. So if we need to squeeze a lot of people in this room or he wants to have a sleepover, he can always have it in his room. Above his bed, we put this cute basketball hoop. My kids are always throwing around balls, so I just sort of go with it and let it happen. And I gave him a basketball hoop here, and he really loves it. On this side of his room, I have another vintage piece that I got in Texas. This Bellini chair I recovered in my own fabric, and here's my dog Presley. This is her spot. She loves to sleep here almost every night and during the day. But I loved that this little interesting chair got its moment in the corner, and we use it all the time for reading books, for hanging out. It's one of our favorite spots in the house. And next to the chair, I have this cool piece of art from Nate Nettleson. It's basically like a scribble on the wall, which I thought was really fun. Now we're stepping into my primary bedroom, which is a very serene, neutral oasis, which is exactly what we wanted from this bedroom. My bedroom in the city is very harsh and black and white, so I really wanted this to feel calm and serene, which I think we achieved. I picked this wallpaper, which looks like travertine, which is the same stone that I used on the fireplace, which I thought was a nice way that brought the living room into this room. It has a little bit of shine, but not too much, which is really pretty. This bed I had custom made for us, and I picked this very chunky fabric from Pierre Frey, which is really interesting looking and adds a lot of depth and texture to the room. These side tables I picked out from Kelly Wearstler. They're really special and cool, and the plaster nude blush color of them I thought really helped to bring everything together. These lamps are another cheat of mine that I use on a lot of my projects. These are from Williams-Sonoma, and they're onyx. They're really solid and heavy, and they're so beautiful and really make a statement and look extremely expensive, even though they're not. This piece of art that I have in our bedroom is by an artist whose name is Lauren Beck. I actually saw these hanging at the well, and I fell in love with them, and I somehow figured out who the artist was and contacted her and knew I needed it for my bedroom. I love the thick knits on it and how warm and cozy it feels. I thought it would be the perfect addition to our room. The bench that I have at the end of our bed is a Mongolian vintage bench that I got also in Texas that I loved. This is another way that I added textures into the room but kept everything neutral so that the room really feels finished and full and not flat. This blanket that I picked for the ends of my bed is a really cool boucle blanket from this company called Uniquity. They make really beautiful throws, and again, I loved the texture it added to my plain white sheets. The rug, same thing, it's from Stark, and it has a bunch of different fibers and leather woven through it, so it really gives you that depth and texture, but is really soft and comfortable on your feet. My drapes in my room were something that I was really excited about. I really feel like sheer drapes add a lot of warmth to a room and look so beautiful. One of my biggest pet peeves in decorating is when drapes are too short. It makes it look like that you bought them from any store and just settled on the length of them. So it was very important to me that all of my drapes hit the floor or puddled a little bit on the floor. I think the puddling in this room specifically gives a very relaxed and casual feel, which is what we were going for. In my room, I knew I needed a really cool light fixture to pull it all together. I picked this Noguchi paper lantern, again, because it was another texture that added to the space. The paper shade is so beautiful. I love just the little parts that are wrinkled, and it's really nice to look up to at night, especially when it's dark out and that's the only thing that's lit up in the room. It's really beautiful, and I knew it was the perfect thing for here. Now I'm gonna take you upstairs into my kids' den. To make sure my kids had a space where they could hang out with their friends, and also we could all hang out as a family. So we created this den for them. I picked this wallpaper, or actually I designed this wallpaper with Porter Telio. I really think it made the space fun. I saw a tile that I really loved and I hand drew this design, and Portertelio made me this wallpaper. They make incredible wallpaper and all of it is made by hand by different artists. This sofa that I have in this room is by a company called Varellin. They make really comfortable, cozy pieces. I love the boxy bubbleness of it, and I thought it was really fun to incorporate into the kids' space. And again, the fabric on it is an outdoor fabric. Don't have to worry about it, but could still keep the trend with the white sofas. It looks really good and it's extremely comfortable. The coffee table that I picked from this room is from a designer whose name is Sarah Ellison. She makes really beautiful pieces of furniture and she's from Australia. So I was really excited to use this piece in this room. It's very light and easy to move around for my kids when they're building forts or jumping around. Another fun part of the room is this donut poof that I put here from Hem. I saw it online and I knew that I had to have it. It's so fun. The kids jump in here, I lay on it, we all hang out, they throw things in it. It's just a really fun thing that I wanted to incorporate into the space. This media stand that I have is from Crate and Barrel. I really have been loving their pieces recently. They've really been doing a good job in creating and designing updated pieces, and I thought that this looked really vintage even though it's from Crate and Barrel and really inexpensive, so I really love it. This piece that I have here is a piece of art from an artist whose name is Daniel Arsham. He does sort of agate stone pieces from everyday objects, so I thought this Brillo box was really cool and fun to have up here with the kids. And over here, this little lamp is another vintage find that I got in Texas. I love little knickknacks just to put around in places that you wouldn't expect. The light fixture that I picked for this space is this rattan light fixture from a place called Atelier Vime in France. I found this light and I loved the scale of it and the texture. I ordered it from France and it actually came just as the shell without a light bulb in it. So I had to source someone in the city to actually put it together for me. It was a little bit of a headache, but I think it was totally worth it and I love how it looks in my house. This air hockey table, which is so beautiful, in my den was a gift from my brother to my son. My kids love playing air hockey. They love hockey, so this is definitely a piece I couldn't get rid of and had to let them have, but it keeps them busy up here, so it's great. This room is usually not as pretty as this. I feel like there's always toys spread everywhere. It's really hard to keep them all together, but I do have bins that we throw everything in, so at the end of the day, after they're done playing, it can look sort of put together, but you're definitely seeing this room at its best, and it does not always look like this. This home is a special place for me and my family. It's an escape from the city and it's our happy place. I've loved having you guys here in the Hamptons, but now it's time for you to go Homeworthy. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.